Hello, welcome back to Really Good Appears, where we chat about and discuss all sorts of movies. My name is Gary O'Brien, and joining me today, once again, it's Sorcha Lachlan as we talk about the 2015 erotic romantic drama, 50 Shades of Grey. So stick around, we hope you enjoy. Sorcha, you're back. Hello, how are we? Well,
yeah, long time, no pod.
I know, it's been a year.
No.
But it's great, because when this was coming around, like, I was just like, oh my god, it's the Valentine's Day. This podcast is known for its wildly inconsistent release schedule. But every Valentine's Day, we've managed to commit to picking the worst sort of rom-com movie that's possible.
Oh, the worst of the worst. I think you're my most consistent Valentine. So.
Aww. Sorcha.
And you're stuck with me.
Yeah, well, it was just like, who else do you get for the Valentine's Day episode? Like, and it was gas, because when we were trying to think of this, was this your idea or mine? I think it was yours. I'm going to put this on, blame you.
Yeah, that's fair. No, blame me for sure, but you weren't shocked by my my putting this forward. You were like, yeah.
Yeah, because, like, so we did Valentine's Day, horrendous. We did P.S. I Love You, even worse.
Oh my god.
And then, like, the other ones we were thinking of, like, there was nothing kind of like, it was like, oh yeah, I suppose that's good. And then once you said this, or once this got mentioned, it was just like, perfect, brilliant.
So this is the first time I've seen it. It's first. Oh yeah. It is the first of any in the series I have seen, but I think they all came out on Valentine's Day. Wasn't that the thing?
Yes, this came out on Valentine's Day 2015, so this is the 8th year anniversary of 50 Shades of Grey.
Aww.
I know.
Yeah.
No, I'd never seen any of them before, and never had any intention to.
Well, if we do this for 3 more years, we've got 3 more. Is it 3 more movies?
2 more movies.
Okay.
I will do this for 2 more years if you want to do this, because I am dying to know how this story ends.
Me too. Do they both die in some sort of
so.
fiery helicopter crash?
So within the first 5 minutes of the next one.
And then it's just 90 minutes of, like, reading eulogies.
I'd love if the next movie is just, like, your man, Christian Grey's mother, going through and, like, cleaning up his belongings, being like, God. He had what in here?
Oh, God. There's so much leather.
But I suppose for anyone who doesn't know what this movie is, do you care to try and explain the plot or the plot synopsis of 50 Shades of Grey?
I'll do you one better. We'll take a step back, because the book is based on some books.
Yes.
And the books are famously based on fanfic.
Of what? But like fan fiction, I assume, Sorcha, of some well-regarded, well-known sort of literature.
Oh yeah,
yes?
War and Peace. Yeah,
yeah.
Dostoevsky. No, did Dostoevsky of Twilight.
I thought this was a Pride and Prejudice adaptation. I thought it's Christian Grey, not Mr. Darcy.
He doesn't have enough flowy shirts and horses for that. But yeah, and there are just moments where I'm like, oh, this is absolutely fanfic. Just like the tropes that. All the tropes. Everything happens so easily, and she's never bad at anything, even though she's so shy and so not like other girls. But yeah, basically, boy meets girl. Girl is shy and quirky, and boy is massive sadist.
Classic love stories.
Exactly.
Tale as old as time.
Absolutely. You don't have well, we're in the red room now. We're in your red room.
This is the spare living room in my house. How dare you assume it's anything else other than that?
Listen, they can't see what I can see, so
no.
You don't have like a soundboard that has like a
I wish. I will say, like, I think if this podcast had any episode had a soundboard, the guest wouldn't get a chance to speak and just have 2 hours of noise effects and sound effects.
That's lined up. Fair. Yeah, you wouldn't need a guest. It's just, you could cobble together.
Yeah, well, see, I have dug myself a hole by calling it reading in the periods, which means there has to be, I suppose, another person there for it, you know?
In theory.
But speaking of socializing, this movie...
Yes? Go on.
So like you said, it's based off some fan fiction, and like the book I saw sold 125 million copies.
Oh yeah, and you can find one in your local charity shop near you, because that's where they all end up.
In this room as well, Gary. I was like, stop lying about what's in this room.
Lining the walls. It's insulation. But no, have you ever noticed that if you go to like secondhand shops, there's always like 1 or 2 50 Shades in there?
No, but I can only imagine like the spine is only like creased at like the first, like the first half, and or maybe the first quarter, and nobody reads the end of it.
Probably.
But yeah, I surprisingly haven't read the book.
Neither have I. I can't read.
So this is the first one. This is the first podcast me and Circle have done in person, and the deadpan delivery.
I'm back, baby.
Explains so much.
How dare you? My students, for context, I'm an English teacher, so my students are going to be very disappointed.
Sorry, where was I? So it's a popular book, and this movie was very popular at the time. However, it was so it was banned in many countries. I know Malaysia is one of them who's banned it.
Actually banned. I didn't realize.
Banned, and the most controversial, not the most controversial, but one of the more slightly controversial thing about this movie is that it's not it wasn't NC-17, which is the highest rating in America you can get for a movie, but it was rated R, and which is a big deal because you've seen the movie. It's fairly raunchy now.
It is now.
But I looked into, it's called the MPAA. I don't know what,
I've heard of it. Yeah,
but I looked at like what they've defined the movie as, and it's great because it's strong sexual content, including dialogue, and my favorite part of this, some unusual behavior. And graphic nudity. And I only can imagine what they meant by that is just to warn people of the weird alien robots that are on screen pretending they love each other.
Oh, this is all the lip biting every time. Yeah. Drink every time she bites her lip. Swear to God.
But yeah, so like, okay, so like Jamie Dornan plays Christian Grey, this billionaire guy who is being interviewed by Anastasia Steele.
The sexiest metal.
The sexiest.
What's your favorite metal?
I'm an aluminum guy myself.
Ooh, what am I? I don't know, like bismuth. Is that a metal? We did science.
I'm sure it is.
Probably.
And it's all about then she is to interview him for her friend, and all of a sudden becomes intertwined with him as he tries to pursue her to sign a suspicious contract that allows them to engage in what's the word? Just explicit sexual activities that require written statements before it's
it's actually undertaken. A movie about bureaucracy. It's not an erotic.
It's a man who wants to sign a contract.
He gets hard off these contracts. He's constantly talking about contracts.
So it's really funny actually. This is a bit of a tangent, but what's new? There's a movie called Barb and Star Go to Visit Del Mar, and I highly recommend it. I know you've heard you've heard specifically,
and I haven't done my
that's so fair
homework.
He is in that movie.
Oh, stop!
He is unbelievably funny in it, and so good. But it's funny because he is in a relationship with the evil villain of the movie, and all he wants is to be an official couple. So this is the second movie I've seen him pursuing a woman trying to be an official couple with someone else, and I can say he is much better in this than he is the other one. What do you think about Jamie Dornan in this? Actually, is he a sexy man?
He is, yeah. But like, I can't say much more than that. I was like, yeah, he fits like the profile, but I wasn't like, oh, blown away. That was disgusting.
Because I saw like so like
he's a handsome man.
Yeah, but like in terms of like the sort of sex appeal that he's going for, and this mysterious man of business that's pursuing the, like you say, the sort of everyday nice girl.
Yes.
Like, for me, and I don't think it's anything to do with Jamie Dornan, I will say, I don't think the acting's so fine. Yeah. I can't blame them. They did a lot of...
It is right down the middle, like, good. It's
fine. All the script.
Yes.
That's my problem with this movie. Yes. It's all the script. And Jamie Dornan, I think he's meant to be more of a silent type and only saying words when it's like...
being monosyllabic.
Exactly. So, like, I think he's miscast big time in this.
Yeah.
And if you've ever seen him in an interview, he is such a lovely, charming
He's so dynamic, yeah.
And it was so weird, because again, like, I think this might have been one of his first big Hollywood movies. And to see him do this, I was like, nah, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan.
Absolutely.
And then what do you think of Dakota Johnson then?
Also, just like... fine. Again, just like she can do much more, but both of them are very like wooden.
Yeah.
Again, there's no chemistry. Like, would you agree that there's no chemistry between them? Yeah. Which makes it very difficult when the entire movie is about them being in a relationship together. So you're like, but like, I got bored, man.
It's so boring.
In all those fuck montages, I was like,
what do you? I was appalled, Sorcha. I couldn't believe the graphic nature that was on screen. I've never watched porn in my life, so this for me, I was like, oh my god,
He's never seen a nude.
I'd never seen a nude person unless it was in the confines of marriage. That's the only way I believe.
Whose marriage are you looking at?
I got married. That's the only way you can. Yeah,
mazel tov.
Yeah, we got divorced then. It was a one night marriage.
Once you saw what needed to be seen, you were like, okay, the the end.
Once she asked me to get a flogger out.
Jeez, we're jumping around. But,
we are jumping around. Sorry.
But again, there's not much plot.
Okay, here we go. Let's get this on. Let's get some structure onto this.
Let's give it some structure.
What would you, if someone said, "Hey, I'm thinking about watching 50 Shades of Grey. What do you think?" Like, if you're saying to someone who's never seen it before.
Yeah.
And I want you to think of it from 2 points of view.
Tell me.
Someone who wants to view it from like a consuming entertainment,
okay.
but then also someone who's on watching it with a load of people for like a drinking game thing.
Okay. In terms of entertainment, I would say, like, if you're just going to watch one, don't bother, because it very much just felt like the intro to a story.
Yes.
So
a bit
you're
of a
like,
tease, the foreplay, if you will.
The foreplay.
Again, I've no idea what that is.
It comes before the 5 play.
Okay, good. Can you slow down? I'll write this down. Oh, I can't even get you to read it.
In terms of drinking game, I'd say absolutely. I think, could we do this with our friends? I think you'd have to play it at like 1.5 speed, I feel like.
Yeah, it's very slow. Because
then otherwise you're just watching kind of...
Because it is 2 hours.
It is.
And that's too long
2 hours and 5 minutes.
2 hours and 5 minutes. Because I saw, actually, how I'll have it here. Would you like to know, I had it here. How much, like, I think the movie I had the total time for like sexy time in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't find it now. I think anyway, but I just remember thinking, it was like, I don't remember. Let's say it was like 10 minutes, for example.
Yeah.
No, not true at all. I was like, you're telling me there's an hour and 50 minutes of plot in this movie somewhere?
There's an hour and 50 minutes of paperwork.
Yes.
Helicopter rides. Mm-hmm. Apparently she works in a hardware store.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah, when he goes to visit her in work.
When he just,
and his 3 things on his shopping list were things to tie people up with.
Yeah, and it led to one of my favorite Google searches, which is like, can you use just regular rope for bondage? Because I was like, that feels very scratchy.
Well, for me, it was like he said duct tape, and I was like, sure. I was like, rope, and I was like, it's when he said cable ties. Yeah, that's when I'm like, you're a serial killer.
Yeah, the cable ties are much more like Narcos.
Yeah,
like,
isn't it? I feel like, I don't know. I feel like they're all suspicious things to find in a man's bedroom, but cable ties is,
yes, much more Dexter.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Because, like, I can imagine what he's using them for.
Oh, yeah, I can. Well, I mean, I can't. I have no idea.
But like,
I'm a nice Christian boy.
In that Christian, which is his name, it's you see how it's ironic or something. I don't know.
Sure.
But like, if you're wanting to restrain someone, I'm like, there's much nicer things I'm sure you can use.
Yeah, the fluffy handcuffs that I've never seen in my life.
No, that I've only seen depicted in like comedy media
or in the pound shop.
Stop.
Oh, by the way, I've just said pound shop, and after watching this movie, everything sounds like an innuendo. Like, the script is so bad. Anytime I can't remember what, I said something to someone, and I was like, oh, sorry, and they're like, what? And I was like, oh, it sounds a bit, and they're like, no, it doesn't, Gary. Everything I've said, everything sounds like an innuendo now after this movie. And I started writing down some of the quotes, and then I just had to kind of give up.
Yes.
But yeah, where are we going with this?
Well, I'll put it on a track.
Yes.
This is the biggest shock of the entire film. The music in it is nothing.
I love the music. The soundtrack was great.
Really? I didn't notice. But do you know who did the soundtrack?
No.
You won't believe it. Danny Elfman.
Wow, that's surprising. Well, actually, sorry, just to re-clarify what I meant. The soundtrack is great.
Yes.
The score, I didn't notice too much.
That's what I was thinking of. I was thinking of the score.
Danny
Elfman.
I would love to see this recut with like weird Edward Scissorhands music.
Yeah,
because it would fit that killer vibe, wouldn't it?
Ooh, yes. Or have you ever listened to Oingo Boingo? Which is his weird, like, ska band.
No, but I already can tell it would make this movie 10 times better.
Oh, it'd be hilarious. But yeah, I was like, that was the first thing I noticed. Opening credits, music by Danny Elfman. I was like, oh, all right then. And then another thing. So,
here we go.
The meet cute is that, like, she goes to interview him for the student newspaper. She's studying English. Is she studying just English?
English
literature. Mm-hmm. And her roommate is studying journalism.
Yeah. She is the I forget my Pride and Prejudice. Who's the Jane?
Yeah.
She's the Jane to the main character's Liz.
You're not incorrect.
I read a thing that compared this movie to Pride and Prejudice, and it matches up mildly.
It matches up a little bit.
Well, it's only really that I could just tell Lily that my favourite Pride and Prejudice adaptation
I don't
is 50 Shades Grey.
Oh.
Sorry.
But, so yeah, her friend is meant to be interviewing him and can't go because she's sick.
Which is a bullshit excuse.
Absolutely.
She looks perfectly fine.
Yep. She's being sassy and eating soup.
Yeah.
And, like, she just sends her friend. And I'm like, that is so unprofessional.
Yeah. Yeah.
if I just sent you. I was like, Gary, I'm sick.
Great choice. What are you talking about? Who am I interviewing?
Go teach my
I
students.
can teach English, no problem. Easy. At least I can read.
Tell me right now what a relative clause is.
I don't know. I don't know. Is that Mrs. Claus? Is that like...
They'll love you. My students will love you. You'll be grand. But I was just like, don't just send a random person in her place.
Yeah.
And then it turns out Anastasia doesn't even bother looking over the questions before she gets there, which is like, are you stupid? I think she is. She's just she's gotten to the age of like 24. I don't know how old she is in the movie.
Well, she's graduating college.
Okay, so maybe like 22.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you were like, Sorcha, you have to go to a meeting.
That's different. You have all your brain function operating.
I have some brain
compared to
cells.
this person.
But like, imagine you're like, I'm going to interview a billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
Not even scanning the first 2 or 3 questions.
And she's clearly very worried about it as well. She's anxious the whole way up.
Oh, she's anxious. She's tripping and falling as every protagonist has to.
I have like a moment of eye rolls here. And the first thing I think is like, she meets him on her knees.
Ooh, good point.
I was like, ugh.
Yeah, yes, that is the soundtrack of this. Yeah, because one of the questions is like, are you gay?
Yeah.
It's just like, all right.
Wouldn't you love to be like, yeah, big time.
Yeah, and then the movie ends.
Yeah.
Just like smash cut to credits. Yes.
Yeah. That'd be a completely different movie.
That'd be great.
Chrissy Grey on Grindr.
And they just never speak again, and we're all saved from this. But yeah, she's irresistible.
Yeah.
He's immediately obsessed with her.
Yeah.
And that's what happens.
Because he's just like, I don't care if I have a meeting in 10 minutes time. I'm here with the awkward woman that doesn't know how to fucking do a job.
Yes, I'm here with this imbecile.
Yeah.
I'm taking pity on.
This child.
Oh, and just...
Because this is a great part of the movie as well, because he is also the keynote speaker at her graduation as well.
Yes, which is like... Maybe that's a thing in America that you'll get an outside... Yeah, I suppose they do like outside speakers. Because for ours, it was just like one of our lecturers.
They consider themselves celebrities in this in college.
Satire.
So.
But yeah, one point that took me out of the movie for a second was when they're interviewing or when he's in the papers or something, he is canonically 27 years old.
He's definitely 34.
Yeah. You're 27, aren't you, Gary?
Never. I'm a youthful little boy of 21 years old.
Oh, so you're Anna.
Yeah, I'm Anna. I'm a little awkward boy going into rich women billionaires things on my knees.
Yeah.
Chewing on pencils or whatever the female equivalent of that sort of thing is.
That's how you do it, right? You chew on it.
Because remember, there's a weird awkward scene where she's chewing on the pencil and like the logo of Grey is there.
Yeah, so exactly. You get it. Get it. It's a long...
I think one of the most okay. I don't know what you think about Sam Taylor Johnson, but she directed this.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I was kind of surprised a woman directed it.
Yeah.
Because I know who they had in line was what's his face, Joe Wright, who did Pride and Prejudice.
Oh no way.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been very different.
It would have been very, very different.
What else has Sam Taylor Johnson done?
She did a movie called The Nowhere Boy, I think, where she met her future husband and much younger man.
We are not a gossip podcast here, but we won't get into that.
Sorry, is her name Sam? Yeah, her name is Sam Taylor Johnson.
Yeah.
Yes, so I think that's all. No, I don't know if that's all she's done, but I know she had such a horrible experience on this movie that she didn't come back and do the others because
I think I had heard
her
that, yeah.
and the author didn't get on.
Oh really? Yeah. E.L. James seems
again
like
the gossip. The gossip's coming out of this podcast.
God, this is just like a tabloid podcast now.
Did you hear Sorcha can't read? Sorry.
Gary's been lying about his age.
He's been in 27 marriages.
Like that movie 27 Dresses.
But I'm in the dresses.
Exactly. You are Katherine Heigl.
I don't see her directing anything else. No, she's only written one movie called A Million Little Pieces. Anyway, that's not important.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was just more I was surprised a woman directed it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's something. But yeah, so then she graduates, and this is something that I think does happen in Twilight, where her mom is just like, yeah, I can't go to your graduation, sorry.
Oh, is that just the same thing?
I think so.
I've only seen the first Twilight.
I think I've seen, just the first one. But I feel like that happens. Just something in me, something in my 12-year-old memory was like, I feel like this happens in Twilight.
There's also the movie Vampires Suck, which I've seen, which I kind of do confuse the two.
It all just blurs into one.
But just to go back to you saying there's no chemistry between these characters. That is because they hate each other and want to kill each other.
Yes, I think they're confusing desire for...
lusts to murder her.
Yes.
They don't like each other.
No.
She is like, she spends the whole movie it's not even like a little playful, like, like she honestly is trying to frustrate this man to the point of death.
Yes.
And then he just wants to get her into the red room and...
Yes, he...
like, borderline murder her.
Yes, I'm like, are you turned on by the fact that she doesn't like you? That she's like telling you to stop doing these things and then you just blatantly ignore that?
Yeah.
Or you just follow her places? Because there's absolutely no way that he just accidentally goes to the hardware store that she works at.
Oh, there's
definitely Googled or like followed her or whatever.
Well, it's not even that. The biggest thing for me in this movie is there's a scene where she goes out, he has her phone, she has his phone number,
Yes.
and she's out with her friend, on a nightclub or whatever, and then she decides to ring him like, I'm really drunk right now, how are you? And he's like, what are you doing?
Yes.
Are you drunk? Stop drinking, you're not meant to drink, I'm coming to get you.
Yes.
And then in like 5 minutes this billionaire's at a nightclub being like,
Yes.
I'll save you from being from that guy you thought you friend zoned.
Like, she's an adult, she goes out and drinks,
Yeah.
drunk calls him, and he's like, what are you doing? And it's like, we literally met like a day ago.
But that's the thing. It's like, I understand it's a whole like, he's controlling, but it's just like, nah, this guy's like borderline levels of like Batman getting around a city quickly kind of thing.
That, but also I'm just like, red flag.
Oh, there's so many red flags.
For both of them.
They should
She
have
is
called
not
50 Shades of a Red Flag.
Exactly, 50 red flags.
50 red.
Because she's not entirely, faultless here either, but he is just like, that's a man you should be reporting and putting on some list somewhere. But she's like, ooh, he cares about me so much and sends me first editions of fancy books.
Yeah, because is that the night they go back to... No, they go back to like some hotel or something like that.
Yes, they go. He's staying in the hotel in her town. And she's like, oh, you're still at the hotel? And he's like, yeah. Because I just can't be away. If he was crying more, that'd be great.
I forgot there's a great line in this when... there's a few things... Oh, yeah. Oh, this is great. So, okay, for some quotes just to catch us up on quotes. When he goes in that hardware store, he's like, I was in the area doing business. That's a murderer, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely.
That's what murderers and kidnappers say.
I was here on a business.
Yeah. Like, the man, I don't even know what he does for business, if I'm perfectly honest.
Actually, yeah, what does Grey Enterprises do?
But,
meetings. They do meetings.
do meetings.
Oh, no, wait, they feed the hungry in Africa or something.
Oh, because he's starving. And there's... Anyway, and then when he's in the hardware store or at the nightclub, I can't remember, but I have this thing written down where he goes, what's your thing? Books? It's like, oh man, calm down, you fucking smooth talker.
Such witty banter, such repartee.
Anyway, and then, oh yes.
Because in his head he's going, my thing is sex. Is your thing sex or is it books?
Mutually exclusive interests.
Yeah, exactly.
And then in that hotel scene, when she's just waking up.
Okay,
from a
we have
hangover,
the same note, okay.
Yeah, she has buttered toast. Another innuendo, if you will. I feel like about buttering muffins and toast and sort of
probably
I don't know.
spreading something.
Again, my brain went to like the just cheapest innuendos,
the lowest hanging fruit.
But then he like crawls onto the bed, eats a bite of her toast, and says, "Out of nowhere, if you were mine, you wouldn't be able to sit down for a week."
Yep. There's a terrible line before that where
what's before that. I probably was too shocked to write it down.
Probably because I was. And it also just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Where like she wakes up and he comes into the hotel room and she's like, we didn't, did we? And he's like, no, I'm not into necrophilia.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, that's just incorrect. Like, I'm glad, but also sleeping is
red flag.
Red flag.
I feel like that'd be a good drinking game. Drink for a red flag.
Every time you feel uncomfortable, drink.
How long did you say this movie was? 2 hours and 5 minutes?
2 hours and 5 minutes of discomfort. And I was just like, who okayed that line?
Yes, that's the thing of like, so there's obviously, I think that's obviously where I again have read the book, but
No.
I wonder if that's in it, and you're the author whose name I probably should know.
E.L. James.
E.L. James.
I think that might be a pen name. I don't know if that's her real name.
Look, that's what she wants to be known by for this book. Let's go with
Let's go with it.
But I know she had a lot of say on the script, so I wonder if, I don't know. But that's what I mean about the actors. They tried their goddamn hardest to fucking they are working with scraps. Yeah.
At what point does he introduce, like, he says, like, my tastes are very singular.
Oh, yes. He goes, well, I have it down here. He goes, I don't do romance. My tastes are very singular. And she goes, enlighten me then. Because,
yes.
I'm just reading the fucking words. I hate it. I can't remember if this was after or before the bit where she, this very, what's the word? Meek. Demure, and very, at the same time, knows exactly what she wants and can be a bit of a tease to kind of get it in a way.
She's a bit of a conflicting character, and I don't know if I'm here for it or not.
It's just the bit when she's just like, and by the way, just BTW, I'm totes a virgin, and I'm
Yes.
I couldn't believe it. I actually had to pause the movie. I was like, what?
Yeah, I mean, we'll get there. But
Are we not there yet?
I don't think. Well, the only other note that I have is like, so he takes her home, and his brother, is riding her roommate, and they are all far too comfortable.
Okay, well that obviously, but where are they riding on, Sorcha? The communal couch. I'm just like, nah, look, you take anyone you want home, but don't be riding on the communal couch.
Not on soft furnishings.
Not on soft furnishings. And there's not even a throw rug to be seen,
There
Sorcha.
is not.
Again, I don't know why you would need it. Again. I'm an innocent Christian boy, but
there's nary a small washcloth to be found.
But it's just like and then you're like, oh, you guys are home. It's just like
everyone is far too casual with the fact that they were like mid boning.
Also, like, was it like I maybe I was reading too much into it, but like I was kind of expecting a weird subplot where the brother turned out to be a dick and like broke up with the girl, because remember he was like, I don't like my brother, and the brother's riding the housemate, and then I'm just like, what sort of conflict?
Mr. Bingley is writing.
Mr. Bingley, there we go. Bingley and Jane. And I was waiting for that. See, I'm just an educated man who likes his classic literature, and I was like, yes, when's that scene going to be?
Just like Anastasia.
Genital clamps? All right, okay, cool.
I mean, not in a shaming way, but just like I was not ready for.
No,
there is no shaming on this podcast.
Absolutely no kink shaming on it. Absolutely like we've kind of said,
and no virgin shaming.
And no virgin shaming,
which Christian does do. He's a bit like, what the fuck? How are you this age?
Oh no, I don't. No. I don't think it's anything to do with her age and the fact. I just think the way she carries on, she comes across as someone. And again, everyone each their own, and people can act whatever they want or whatever. But like, she comes across someone who knows exactly what the fuck they're doing, and has that sort of like she kind of knows what's in sight, and therefore can tease around that sort of line.
She plays the game.
Exactly, and that's why I was just like, no, you can like, because the character, in my opinion, and again, Gary knows things about books and women, I guess, which is she is not written like that. Up until that point. Yes,
it's very much a convenience.
Yeah,
let's talk about this, because she is studying literature. She has done years of, reading the classics and whatever. Yeah. Sex is not a new concept, and yet she is somehow completely ignorant to the idea of like someone might be into being spanked, or she's like, why would you hit someone? And it's like, because people have fetishes, Anastasia. She's like, what do you get out of this? And it's like, sex has existed for millennia. If you go to a museum, you can see people like pegging.
Amsterdam have a whole museum of sex.
There's a book by the Marquis de Sade, who invented sadism, that you could have read and you would have learned about all these things.
Yeah. There's a 50 Shades of Grey book you could have been reading. Anastasia Steele. Ridiculous name.
Like when no.
I have it here. I have exactly what so I have all my Letterboxd reviews that I liked, and my favourite one is half a star from Sophie with the quote, "What are butt plugs?"
Yes!
And then she's like, "Girl, the clue is in the name."
Yes, thank you. I was like, it's 2 words, they're both nouns. Again, you're studying English. And because I'm also mad about that, because
that
like
scene?
Not that yes, but that specifically, because we see her earlier Googling. He gives her a laptop specifically just to do research about BDSM, which like whatever, and she's Googling stuff, and she's Googling some pretty like in-depth bondage.
Googles submissive.
Yeah, which again, that's an adjective you should know.
But I'm also like, I don't think Google is immediately going to jump to those images
to those,
based
like,
off that one word.
Masked. Exactly, it'll be like a dictionary definition.
Hold on, let's ruin Gary's internet search right here.
Let's do it. But like...
Sorry, just the last thing I was looking up was the Mass Times on Sunday. Some big Christian boy.
Who's
I don't know why I've started
the liturgical calendar is open 24/7.
Images. Oh, you know what? Like, they're not far off.
They're not far off.
There you go.
Okay, yeah, but like, how is it that did she just Google only submissive and then just stop there?
Like,
oh my,
it's pretty hard on.
This is a nice bonding moment I never thought we'd have, Gary.
It's like look at the weird bondage on my computer.
Look at these ladies. Look at what they're up to.
There you go. Okay, well, never mind. I take it back.
Okay, maybe we do. But yeah, did she only Google submissive and then stop? Like, why would you not Google butt plug then?
Because I remember because he was like, you got to do your research, and she goes, my laptop's broken, and that's like, then he was like, fucking, I'll give you, here's a fucking laptop.
Here's a fucking MacBook.
But also, this was the thing as well. I thought it was going to lead to this whole thing of like he was tracking where she. No, there was never. Anytime I thought there was going to be any sort of interesting plot element to begin of this movie, nothing. And again, this whole movie, and I don't know how long we've been recording for now, but I cannot stress enough, there is no plot other than the two of them just playing cat and mouse with each other for the entire movie. And then there's an element of like, will they, won't they? Yeah. And then they either do or don't, and then the movie ends.
Yes, and they have sex, right?
Multiple times.
Yeah. But here's the thing, because he's like, I want you to sign a contract and submit yourself to me entirely. You're going to be my submissive. I'm going to like own you, which is not what that is.
Yeah.
It is still a two-way street. It's still a relationship. You don't just own a person. I have so many issues with this.
It's not like you signed a thing one time. I get to do whatever I want now.
Literally, it's still like, that was another thing, because somewhere in his fucking contract is like, you'll do whatever pleases me. And I'm like, that's not how it works. That's not, red flag. I'm waving my little red flag. Because even if you're in a normal, the terminology, Gary, is vanilla relationship. Even if you're with your best friend and you're like, oh, we're going to watch this. And you're like, no, I don't want to. We're going to watch Spider-Man 3. Mm-hmm. And your friend's like, I don't want to. You're like, but it pleases me. You get no say in. Like... He just takes away all fucking...
You agreed to movie night, I get to pick whatever movie because it pleases me. You agreed to the vague construct of this, and I get to pick the particulars.
Yeah, but like imagine you're in a relationship and they're like, oh, we're gonna bone tonight. And you're like, yeah, we are. And then 30 minutes later after dinner, you're like, I'm kind of bloated, I don't want to bone. If they then don't agree to that, that's like...
I will say though, Christian Grey has thought that through because she can only eat what he says, so therefore she can never get bloated though because he picks the food. She's literally just crafting her life so that, you know, that she doesn't have an excuse.
He wants an object. Because he's like, you will eat this, you will have birth control that from a doctor that I agree to.
But like, isn't it okay? Yeah, well, let's get into this part now.
Because
it's
the
like,
contract is the most interesting part. Let's be real.
It's not. It is the contract, but like, I don't know too much about that. Again, big Christian boy over here.
Absolutely.
But like, it's
you are fresh as freshly fallen snow.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's just like I feel like, to the uneducated, this movie could be quite damaging.
Oh, absolutely.
However, I think it is good in the sense of it somewhat normalizes what could be considered deviant behavior and such like that.
Yeah.
I think it does a job of trying to insert it into the mainstream. However,
that's what she said.
I see. Isn't it the fucking word? Anything I want to say. However, the way it frames it with this super wealthy man controlling a woman.
Yes.
And I saw a great thing. Wait, do I have the review here somewhere? It was basically like, do I have this? No, but it's basically like if Christian Grey was a 30-year-old guy working, like a 30-year-old stoner who lived in a one bed in like, some bad area of New York, this would be a completely different situation.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because again, it goes to show like what Anastasia Steele, which again, I don't want to call her that because that just sounds like a fake name.
Yeah.
I know it is because, whatever. But whatever. But it's a case of like, she knows what she's getting out of this because it's beneficial to her to be going out with a guy who's going to gift her a laptop and a car and like whatever else that as far as that would have gone.
But he also like sells her other car.
Yeah.
She was not upset enough about the fact that he sold her very nice Volkswagen Beetle, like vintage Volkswagen Beetle.
For some shit, I don't know what the fuck she got instead, but look,
Yaris or something, I don't know.
You will be economical with fuel. That's part of the contract.
You will drive in high gears when possible for lower revolutions, Anastasia. And he's just got like a massive boner. He's like, oh, the economy.
The engine sounds like it's going to blow, much like
our relation.
My blossoming love.
But like, actually, sorry. Before this, I forget the chronology does not matter because it's fuck montages, meeting montages, helicopter rides. She's asking him like, okay, how did you get into this? Which is like a fair enough question if you're completely new to the scene. And he has a terrible, tragic backstory where he's like, oh, when I was 15.
Fuck, was it 15? Shit.
15, my mum's friend, I was her submissive. And I'm like, are we not going to talk about the fact that he was groomed by an older woman?
So that, I do know that comes into play in the next movie or the movie after that.
Okay.
Because I know it's played by Kim Basinger.
Oh, no, right.
Which is why I was like, I wouldn't mind watching the other one. But again, I'll only do it for the podcast because I'm not watching that in my free time.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But that's what I mean. There's these elements of the movie. Because there is a conflict in this where she's like, oh, were you off seeing her? Kind of thing like that.
Yes, because he's still like friends with her. And I'm like, that is Stockholm Syndrome.
But again, nothing's ever done with it.
Yes, they drop this, like, what could be a really interesting thing to delve into. And no one reacts in a reasonable way. Everyone's just like, oh, okay. Or they blow up like, you're having dinner with her. I'm not going to answer my phone now.
Yeah. Because there's also this whole thing of, what you call it? This Anastasia, I don't know, I think she has this sort of complex, like, I can save him kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I understand.
Which is a very much a fanfic trope of, like, I can fix the bad boy.
Beauty and the Beast-esque
Absolutely,
kind of thing.
yeah, 100%. It's a tale as old as time, Gary. Oh, the Beast definitely had a red room.
I'm desperately trying to rethink the words of be my guest, be our guest. Be our gimp.
Submissive. Be my submissive. Try the grey stuff. It's delicious. I don't know.
There's something there.
Yeah, we'll work
think
on
about
it
later time. But yes, it is this whole thing of like he's a walking red flag.
Yes.
But yes, nothing is ever spoiler, nothing has ever resolved with that.
No, you're like, wow, this could almost be something if he maybe went to therapy.
Maybe went to therapy. Then he wouldn't be, can I say the big quote?
Go for it.
He wouldn't be 50 Shades of Fucked Up. But I also think for anyone who hasn't seen the movie, it's very important to know that's said in a dramatic scene where it's meant to be like the punch, the whatever, the
like climax.
Yeah, that too.
But like, yeah, it's meant to be him trying to kind of open up. He's like, I've had
like the Stella, you're tearing me apart line.
Exactly. Because, yeah, it turns out that he has, like, a lot of issues, but he won't talk about them, which, again, is a problem. If you want to enter into a relationship with someone where you're, like, having to be on a level playing field, you can't just expect her to give over everything, and you give nothing, which is why...
No, that's not fair, Sorcha. She gets to stay in his apartment, but on a different floor in a separate bedroom.
Yes.
She gets something out of this, Sorcha. She gets a nice view of Seattle.
She gets to be a lodger.
Yeah.
She gets to...
And she's summoned for sex whenever he pleases. What's wrong with that, Sorcha?
I mean, the way rents are going in Dublin.
Yeah, exactly.
She gets to playfully make eggs in the morning.
So funny.
Yeah, it's... So, then they have a sexily lit contract talk.
Oh, yeah. Wait, when do I have That's a Hell of a Sack in here? Oh, yes. Because she said she was going to show up to some dinner thing in a Hessian sack.
Yeah.
And then he goes, that's a hell of a sack.
It's a meeting, actually, so this is...
is that the meeting? Oh, yes. Okay, cool.
Because he's like, when are you going to sign the contract? And she's like, I don't know. Well, she's Googling, like, all these things. And she decides that they're going to properly talk about it like it's a business meeting, so...
Yeah, because there's like 20 minutes of this movie, him being like texting her. He's like out of a meeting and he checks his phone and he's like, why aren't you signing the contract? And she's like, lol, totally missed this. Out getting ice cream.
Yeah, I was in the shower. What are we talking about? And they have this meeting where, they're all like, it's a lot of tension.
I love this scene.
This was... Yes, actually, this scene was pretty well done and well directed, but for the sake of taking the piss out of it, I was like, this is me with my glasses and my short-sightedness. I was like, how is she able to read anything in this lighting? Because it's like low lit.
Whoa. Let's rephrase. I think you'll find it. You're like, how could you read?
My contract would be like... My contract would be like an IKEA manual, and it's all pictures of, like, fisting.
It's like a little children's book.
Oh, it's got pop-ups. But yeah, I was just like, how is she able to read anything? This is just my jealousy coming through. But yeah, there's a lot of very wild shit in there that he does not introduce her slowly to any concept. He's just like, so you're going to do everything ever, including, she starts off, Gary.
Oh, vaginal fisting?
No, she starts with anal fist.
Oh, anal fisting. Sorry, I have the line here, strike out vaginal fisting.
Yes. Strike out vaginal fisting and anal fisting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah,
I feel
that's not something you start with.
I feel like that contract should be like a tick the box kind of exercise rather than like
a nice Google form.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? But it is a nice scene because it's like she's teased him for like, I don't know, a week or however long that scene happened for. But she's like, oh, we're gonna have a biz meeting and we're gonna negotiate this contract, and he's like loving it.
Yeah, this actually is probably the most like dynamic part of the
movie.
Isn't
it? I love the acting in this as well, and the lighting was unique enough that it stood out from the rest of the movie.
And actually, if I had to say that at any point they had chemistry, it's this scene.
100%, yeah.
There's much more tension
when they're talking about the sex they won't be having.
Exactly, but it shows her actually having some agency, and he's listening.
Yes,
I think that's what it is. Instead of him being like, no, he's like, okay, and what about I throw in a little sweetener? And you're like, oh, this is playful.
However, no, I somewhat see a part of this movie I don't like because it's like he wants her to sign this super evil contract over. Well, look, is it super? Might be nice for some people. However, for the character we've been introduced to, it's an extreme.
Yes, it's not equal. It's very much like...
But like that could be
someone's cup of tea. That could be
someone's cup of tea. But it's more this sort of extreme thing. But like he's literally lying to. They're both lying to each other.
Yeah.
But he's lying to her, be like, look, I can do romance. Oh, I can do these nice things for you. And then he's like, once I get that fucking thing on the dotted line, you're mine, kind of thing.
Yes.
And that's what I didn't like about the character.
Yes,
I think we were talking about just before the podcast started, where it was just like it's dangerous behavior. It's a red flag, and it's just like, how many times have people been sold lies that then have been kind of held against them in a way?
Absolutely,
you know
because one thing that like the most kind of harmful thing that is shown, not even like in the literal physical sense of harm, is that like he reacts out of anger a lot.
Yes.
When he gets angry, he wants to take it out on her. And you're like, that is not what it should be about. Mm-hmm. It should be about like, we're both going into this because we both want to do this. Yeah. Not like, I've had a bad day and now I get to consensually beat you.
Yeah.
Like, no, you don't hit out of anger. You don't do this out of anger.
Especially someone who, like, up until that point hadn't experienced something like that before.
Hadn't experienced anything.
And for him to be like, you like this, don't you?
Yeah, and then she would feel...
With tears in her eyes, sure.
Yes, exactly. Oh, he should have a responsibility as well, because in that scene where she's like, show me the worst of it, he should be responsible enough to go, no, you are not in the right place for this. Yes. You don't mean what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's what a responsible, like, dominant would
a businessman.
Do. Responsible. Is that what the kids call it? A businessman.
A businessman.
Yes, because anyone with a brain cell would look at this weeping woman who's like, hit me as hard as you can, and should be like, no, you don't know what you're saying. Let's talk about this when we've both calmed down a bit.
But that was something, obviously, that was on the contract. Sorry, just to go back to that as well. So, yes, there's that playful scene where they're ruling out things and they rule out...
genital clamps.
Genital... It's just like...
Jellicle clamps.
Sorry, I was just...
From Cats.
What? I've never seen Cats.
Well, they're called the Jellicle Cats, and I thought we should do Cats.
We should do Cats.
Oh my god, I have
Cats, please?
Yes, I have so many thoughts and opinions on.
Thank you.
But they're the brand of cat, like the breed of cat, are called Jellicle Cats.
Wow.
So I'm imagining Jellicle clamps.
None of those, please.
No, I want no tap dancing cats in our sex.
And then there's also the butt plug thing as well. And that's a nice scene. But then she doesn't sign it, which I thought was great because she was still like, I'll think about it.
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
I loved.
Power play, baby.
Yeah, and then she goes to dinner with the family.
Oh yeah, she meets his family. And...
Rita Ora is there.
Oh yeah, with her very sharp, very short bob.
Yeah, I have nothing other to say than Rita Ora is there.
Yeah, and she speaks French unnecessarily.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it, because this is, again, a problem. Again, I am no expert on the B's, the D's, the S's, and the M's. You're allowed to have your relationship in the bedroom that stipulates X, Y, Z, or whatever. Mm-hmm. But this is where we were talking about where he's like, I literally own you.
Oh, yes, because she wants to go to Georgia.
She wants to visit her mother. A very reasonable and normal thing. And he loses it. He's like, you didn't tell me about Georgia. He carries her like a sack of potatoes and does spank her, like does hit her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because he says, it makes me palm-twitchingly angry. And you're like, red flag, please, wee-woo, forget red flags, ambulance, sirens. And then do they like fuck in a greenhouse or something? I forget.
I don't know. I just know it's never, I would imagine, don't know if it's a sexy thing for a guy to say like, oh, you've got my palms all twitching.
You got me twitchy little fingers.
Just like, run.
Run. She has no self-preservation instinct. She is like a lemming going over the cliff.
Drive away in the car he bought you.
Yeah, because then she does go to Georgia and she's having drinks with her mum. She's drinking her feelings away. We've all been there. And he texts, I think that's enough.
Yeah.
Implying that he is watching her, and he comes around the corner.
Because she gets asked if she wants another drink or something.
Yes, and he's like, don't you think you've had enough?
But see, how does he keep finding her?
Yeah, they don't explain it.
But see, that's what I wanted. Like, I wanted him to, like, hack her tech or something like that.
Hack her tech!
Hack her tech! I wanted her to hack her tech.
I'm in. But yeah, exactly. No, there should be a bit more of an explicit, like... Because otherwise, I don't know, is he omniscient? Like, is he psychic?
Because he's followed her too many times, in my opinion. Whether that be where she works, the nightclub, and now this.
Yeah, or sent a man into her apartment to set up a laptop that her roommate also is just like, okay.
That's a bad housemate.
That is a bad housemate. But she's going to become part of the Grey family because her and Elliot decide to like move in together.
There must be something with that in the next one. There's some Bingley fucking Jane thing happening there.
Absolutely, but like she meets this guy and they move in like 6 weeks later or something. I don't know. Who knows, Gary?
What I also didn't like about your man Christian Grey is about him being like, oh, we're going to do a date night all the time. And he's like, I'm going to bring you up into the air. I was like, oh, in a plane? No. It looks like a plane, but you need another plane to bring you up, and then it just drops you. This thing just drops you, and we glide. We're going to glide. How does it land? Never seen it glide. I don't know how it lands, but we listen to Beyonce, and it all looks like a fun time, and I'm like, this is a manipulative man and a vulnerable woman. Send help. He's got her in the air.
Yeah, have you ever wanted a date in a paper airplane? That was your chance.
I've never wanted a second date with someone like whatever 10,000, like 5,000, I don't know, like a certain amount of feet up in the air.
100,000 feet.
In something that doesn't control it, just gliding.
And then they just magically get back to Seattle,
I'd
Portland.
love to know how they land. Didn't see it though.
They're just in the ocean. Like when the Soyuz comes out of space, they're just like,
is this one of the kings? And he's like, we are in deep trouble.
Yeah, he's like, actually, I don't like to admit when I'm wrong, but
this is one of those times.
Yeah. Oh, another. I'm just looking at my notes, and it's true. So anytime that they're having like the explicit sex, she is completely nude. We do see a lot of tits, and that's fine.
Yes.
He's always wearing like little jammy bottoms.
He is, yeah. So I have two things on that. One apparently is a lot of remote controlled cameras were used for filming them, so they didn't have to be a big
like
camera crew, and I thought that was great.
Absolutely.
And my thing that I thought was slightly unnecessary was apparently cinematographer Seamus McGarvey, great name, revealed that he and his team had to digitally add in shots of visible pubic hair, and it was not there for real because they have been wearing sheer modesty patches.
I don't remember any pubes. Do you?
I cannot stress to you how much I was overanalyzing the pubes in this movie. Being like, is that CGI? Is that CGI pubes?
Is it blowing in the breeze like a natural pube would?
Is that an uncanny valley pube right there?
Look at the pixels on that pube.
But yeah, and again, maybe I'm overanalyzing this stupid movie too much, but
that's what we're here for.
I thought, I don't know if this sounds rich coming from the lad, but I actually think it worked better that she was more nude more often than him. Because, one, there's obviously the whole, that they're having sex and whatever, and it's very erotic, and it's very, arousing, but also and I think it's only in those kind of last few scenes where it's also just really vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I think her being the only one we see fully nude lends to that. But again, I don't know if I'm grasping at straws here, but it was, and especially in that last bit where I don't know if he's fully clothed or I can't remember, but
he's in his sex jammies.
I think he's in his sex jammies, but like it goes from sexy to like just scary very quickly.
Exactly. Yes, because she is like very much tied up, very much restrained, very much like blindfolded. Yeah. And you're just like, oof, you feel the imbalance of power.
So that's why I guess it kind of worked. And fucking fair play to Dakota Johnson, because she really goes for it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That you need a certain amount of like, you need so much confidence.
Yeah.
Not even just like in feeling all right with your body, but like feeling all right with everyone seeing that.
Well, and also I think it's because her parents are both very famous celebrities, and she's probably like, fuck it, I'll do a thing that they won't know me as their kid anymore. They'll know me as the naked lady.
Everyone will know me as the Anastasia Steele.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we won't go into it, but there is, of course, the double standard of you can't see penis, but you can see... I mean, you don't see
her vagina.
You don't see his legs then, I guess. You do see his butt at one point.
Yeah.
Oh, do you remember that really... that scene where there's like a sponge bath?
Yeah.
Like, that was fine. Like, it's intimate, it's whatever. But it was a bubbleless bath. It was just water and a sponge, but there was no soap, nothing. He just grabs a sponge, and I was like, why does this make me so uncomfortable? It's like they're two little boiled eggs in a pot. There's just...
Okay, that's fair, but like, how many times have you seen bubbles in a movie and you're like, that's not real, and you get in a bubble bath and the bubbles are gone, and you're like, oh my god, these bubbles out here protect me. So maybe they overshot on that, and they're like, fuck it, no bubbles then, all boobs.
Yeah, no bubbles, all boobs. But I was like, you're just washing her with your own like lukewarm water. Like, we need some soap here. Even just like a bar of imperial leather, like that smells like your granny's house. Just give me some.
Of all complaints about this movie, I don't think anyone has ever thought about where's the soap.
Someone's got to think about it, Gary. And another thought I had was like, wow, a bath big enough for 2 people. That's pretty luxe.
Well, like, he's living in a big fancy
I know, but like, I don't remember the last time I took a bath. I don't know the last time you took a bath. But like, as adults, it's very hard to fit into most baths. You're either too tall or too wide or something. Your feet are hitting the taps.
Yeah. What else is there?
I mean, that's the thing. We basically come towards the end of the movie then, because She gets very upset. I can't remember why, but she gets upset. And she's like, show me the worst of it. And he hits her and she is upset.
Is it something to do with who are you? Was it to do with the older woman?
I think so, yeah. She was like, again, just doesn't understand why he wants to
Could be something like that.
Be sadistic. And she's like, okay, because I don't know, that's it. She's like, I want you. And he's like, I want you, but I only want you if I can do whatever I want to you. And she's like, fine, then show me the extremes. And then she gets upset and she's like, don't touch me, don't talk to me. And
I think he says he's 50 Shades of fucked up.
Yeah, he sure does. Oh, we didn't mention the other famous line.
I'd fuck you into the middle of next week.
Oh, he did say that. No, the other one of like, I don't make love, I fuck.
Oh, yes.
Hard. And it's just like, if someone said that to me, I'd be like, all right, buddy.
Good stuff, fair play.
Yeah. And she runs out and we're left on a cliffhanger. She runs into the lift.
Yeah.
He runs after her. She says no. He stops and the door's closed.
Mirroring their first meeting together.
Yes.
Which I was like, that's...
I did like a nice little cinematic parallel.
I was left... what's the word I'm looking for?
Aroused.
No, what's the word? Blue-balled by the end of this movie. I was like, what? Really?
Yeah, that's the thing. I was like...
It hooked. I tell you, it got me excited to see what happened next.
Yes.
But if, like I said, the next movie isn't the first 10 minutes for being like, never speak to me again, go away.
Yes. I want a restraining order against you. And that's 50... Like, genuinely, that's it. I cannot think of a single other thing that happens.
I tell you what, we can end with some fun letterbox reviews I have here.
Yeah.
So, 1.5 stars by Simon Ramshaw. Eyes wide shit.
Oh, no.
Number 1 Gizmo fan, 3 stars. Joshua pointed out, ... How the fuck did she not know what butt plugs are with her 4.0 GPA?
True. Very true. My thoughts as well.
4 stars from Rachel. What can I say? I love cinema.
Actually, thinking of this, like, for the people who do genuinely enjoy it, and I'm happy for you, like, but would you go to the cinema with other people in public and be like, oh, yeah?
I don't think it's an oh yeah movie. Like I've never seen Nymphomaniac.
Jake Gyllenhaal, yeah.
No, I know
that's Nightcrawler.
That's nice.
I can't read, Gary.
No, it's a one with the actors actually had sex kind of thing.
Yeah.
I feel like that's maybe a bit of an oh yeah. Like I don't know. Is it more the whole like yeah? I feel like it's more that than
is it the foreplay and then you go home and do
exactly. I don't know. I'd love to see. I might look into it later. Just seeing like what spikes in Google searches happened after this movie came out.
Please do. You know I love data. You know data gets me absolutely randy.
How to get contracts certified
in Portland.
Notaries in my area. 2 stars. Christian Grey. 2 stars from Ben Hack. Christian Grey probably invented the phrase "You can't say happiness without saying penis."
Yeah, if he was less suave and debonair.
1.5 stars. Delirium. I can't fap to this.
Yep. I'm sure many people have, but good for you, Delirium.
Renia says 1 star LMAO, that ending. And then this is my favourite one by far. It's by Epic Eduardo, 1 star. I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not.
That's a supercut I need.
Yeah.
Tommy Wiseau in 50 Shades of Grey.
That'd be fantastic.
Hi, doggy.
I've actually never seen The Room, would you believe it?
Me neither.
Well, we'll do that after Cats.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the double bill everyone needs.
Cats and Rooms.
Cats, 50 Shades. What are the other ones called?
50 Shades Darker and 50 Shades Freed, I feel.
Yes, that sounds right.
I'd watch them next year. What's that bring us to? 2025? The 10year anniversary!
Okay,
there you go. We've got it planned. Look, we've got our Valentine's Day sort of for the next 2 years, circa. My God.
Then we watch, something like Irreversible or like
we'll
Nymphomaniac, and then like we'd never talk to each other ever again.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, that sounds right. It's been nice. Yeah. We've had a good run.
Exactly. Yeah. We got through.
So many.
I was gonna. There was a shot. Definitely. What movie did we definitely watch? We got through
Howard the Duck.
That was
good. That had duck boobs. That was.
I did have duck boobs. Have all of our movies had boobs? Die Hard had boobs.
Die Hard did have boobs.
I don't think Valentine's Day had boobs.
No.
Oh, West Side Story, no boobs.
No boobs.
No boobs.
They were good Christian a couple because they
waited
until
she prayed a lot.
Yeah, and they got married before they could.
They did.
Wait, did they get real married or fake married? I can't remember.
I think it was like I can't remember.
Yeah, I mean,
there's definitely no boobs in The Foreigner.
Sadly.
There's no okay, I'm starting to see there's a trend of no boobs. Murder on the Orient Express.
Yes, sadly.
Oh, Rocky Horror Picture Show. Boobs.
Oh, boobs.
Boobs, big time. P.S. I love you. Maybe boobs, can't remember.
I don't think so.
Sorry, do you remember?
But Javier Bardem, not Javier Bardem. The one
what's-
who also looks like Javier Bardem.
Who's the guy? Who's the murderer guy in that?
In P.S. I Love You.
Yeah, it was like the singer. The
Yeah,
guy.
him, yeah.
The guy you were like, he wants to eat people's eyelids.
Listen, a day does not go by when I don't think about that fucking, like, box urn, that, like, leather box urn that she carried her fucking husband around in.
So good. Oh,
I
you just did the greatest hits of Gary and Circus podcast there as well.
absolutely go check out the old episodes.
Oh,
man.
100%. But if there's a movie,
Even if they don't have boobs.
even if they don't have boobs, and that's something like that's there you go. This has actually been your 10th time on the podcast.
Oh, really?
There you go. I just realised that now.
Woof.
But if there's a movie you want Circa to come on and do, please do let us know.
Absolutely.
And Circa, if there's a movie you want to do, tough shit, you're doing Cats.
That's fair.
But thank you.
I have a lot of opinions on cats, so buckle in, everyone.
In the movie or just in general?
Both. You're going to have a miserable time.
I'm allergic to cats, so this is going to be a bad time.
We will do the podcast live from a cattery. They'll be knocking over all your equipment, showing their anus. It's going to be great.
Can't wait. Circa, thanks for spending Valentine's Day with me again for our third year in a row now.
I wouldn't have
What
it any other
anniversary
way.
is this?
Oh, yeah.
We've been ending this podcast for so long.
Paper
Anniversary.
is one. First year anniversary paper.
Oh, it's bismuth.
Finally! It's butt plugs. It's silicone.
Oh, where the fuck? Hold on. Anniversary gifts by year. Oh my god.
What is it?
Leather?
No! Gary, no!
It gets so much. Next.
Wait, so one is paper, two is...
One is paper, two is cotton. Now, this is off the first thing I've seen.
Yeah,
here.
yeah, but...
One is paper, two is cotton, three is leather. Why'd you go from leather to then fruit or flowers? The fourth one. And then wood. And then what? 6 is candy or iron.
Either or.
Okay, one
I
second.
do love iron, though. Iron is the sexiest metal. I know earlier I said steel was the sexiest metal, but iron's up there.
Okay, I'm on another website and it's saying glass or crystal is 3, but I like leather.
Yeah, no, leather was too serendipitous.
Yeah, that's too good.
I'll get you a nice wallet.
Thank you. But also thank you for coming on the podcast again,
Thank you
Circa.
for having
It's so
me.
nice having you over in the podcast studio, not a sex dungeon.
The definitely not a sex dungeon podcast studio.
one
The padding on the walls
I was
is
about to
just
say
for
the soundproofing
acoustics.
of the wall is purely from a podcasting perspective.
The cable ties are just for cable organization.
And the flogger's just there for fun.
Oh yeah, they're just souvenirs.
But also thank you for everyone for listening to this and any other ones. If you want to know when new ones are coming out and keep up to date with the pod, you can follow at Reading in the Peers on Instagram. You can follow on Spotify, follow on Apple Podcasts as well. We're on TikTok at Reading in the Peers. We're also on YouTube at Reading in the Peers. And we're on a lot of different things. Go listen to your friends. And if you're having sex, make sure it's consensual.
Absolutely.
No contracts. I feel like that's weird.
No, safe, sane, and consensual.
Do your own thing. But
Consensual.
Consensual, ladies and gentlemen. You stay consensual, San Diego.